Hey y'all. Well, it looks like the wind mostly has died down. We get little breezes every now and then that pick up my plastic, which I don't like, but that's definitely better than 30, 40 mile an hour winds. Ted was a little concerned that my beds were not going to survive the rain last night, and as you can see, they did pretty good. Now I can tell some of the soil might have washed down in here a little bit. Um, even maybe even a little bit in here. It does seem just a little bit deeper than it was, but I could be imagining that. But for the most part, I think it looks okay. I don't see too many things I'm horribly displeased with. Maybe a few of the weeds, but this area does have a pre-emergent on it. So those weeds shouldn't take, and that'll be good. What I did when I built the beds, and I don't know if you can tell that very well, but I try to stair step them a little bit. There's a slant that goes like, like this, up this hill here. And I wanted to make it so when it rained and the water flows down, that it didn't necessarily wash out the beds, but it did allow it to flow to the lower side, which is more right here. I tried to grade it a little bit. Hopefully I did okay. It looks like it did all right. Now we are expecting more rain next week, and that a lot more rain actually, and that may be what decides whether or not this is going to work or not. But I think it's not bad. I think they did okay. This area here, I'm glad it rained because I really needed it to tamp that down a little bit so I could smooth it out a little bit better. And I think that's worked out pretty well. And as you can see, even here, the water flows down towards this way so it can flow out towards that area there. And I tried to berm up the sides a little bit to keep the water in the bed, but also allow it to be deep enough to flow out so that the rhizomes don't rot. That's really their biggest concern, is that if they get too wet, that they will rot. So you really want good drainage for them. And I think that has done okay. Looking here, made this bed a little more narrow. And I think the mulch has done its job for the most part. I did not get mulch in between the beds, and I may do that later. I haven't quite decided. I do have plenty, I think, so I may do that later. But pretty impressed that these stood up as well as they did, since this ground is mostly sand. I was expecting it to wash out a little more than that. I'm glad that did not happen. This area here still needs tilling and weeding over here, and probably another 4 beds there. Or I may change things up and do 1-foot beds, or I guess 1.5 feet, and then 1-foot spacing in between, because I would be able to get, oh goodness, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 more narrow beds about as wide as this area here, maybe that area there. And then I could plant single rows down those beds from, let's see, where does it start? About right there. And it would be a single row of irises all the way down the bed to about right there. About right there. And that would probably do a little bit better. When I started planting, I needed to get them in the ground as quick as possible, and I did what seemed to work at the moment. I may be changing my game for plantings next year for the the rest of this area here. But pretty pleased with the way this looks. But I do think I could split these up into at least 2 beds each with a pathway in the center. And I might get a little bit further with my planting that way. Haven't quite decided yet. But I'm pleased. I'm thinking that this is working out pretty good. I hate the look of the plastic, I'll admit, but it's doing its job. And since it's doing its job, I definitely can't say too much bad about it because it works. That stuff absolutely fries the weeds and keeps them from growing. And I appreciate that a great deal. But as you see, it has done a good job. And I'm thankful for the rain because, goodness, this really needed a watering. And I had watered these here when I planted them. This one, and those two. But I was expecting rain the evening that I planted this, so I didn't water them. And it was another 3 days before the rain came, so I was thankful for it. And I've got to get another water hose because my water hose will not reach this last one here. So I've got to figure that out as well. But they don't need watering often, which I'm thankful for. So I've got time. And I still have to get the irises that I have in these beds here, but I have other obligations today. I might get a few planted tonight, but we'll see. I need to finish planting out this bed, that bed, and the far bed. There's a little bit of space at the end of each of those. And then I have a little space here at the front of this one right here that I can plant in. So we will see how it goes. Hopefully well. That's the plan. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to show you how the beds did after the rain and take any comments you have on what I could do better. I'm certainly interested in that. I'm not one who, doesn't want to listen to other people's opinions. I'm certainly willing to take suggestions here. Okay, well, I guess I will talk to you guys later. Hope you're having a great day. The wind is picking back up, as you can see, and that just makes it hard to film, as you heard in the last video. All right, well, I gotta get back to washing eggs and collecting eggs, so I will talk to you guys later. Bye now.